Alright, you have a weekend, a few days to visit Rome. What should you visit? First of all, it's not enough. Whatever time you have to visit the Urbe, the eternal city, well, as per its definition, it won't be enough. But I'll help you anyway with this super concentrated guide on the best things to see in Rome. So let's jump right in. The Roman Forum. If you came here during the Middle Ages, you would have found a cow field. Yes, cows eating grass surrounded by buried monuments. And literally, that was its name at that time, Campo Vaccino, which means actually, yes, cow field. But the Roman Forum was much more than that. In the classical period, it was the central location for all judicial and political life in the city, the site of triumphal processions and elections, the venue for public speeches, criminal trials, gladiatorial matches, and also one of the city markets. What happened after? Well, for a start, the fall of Roman Empire didn't really help with its preservation, but also the Italian Renaissance was unkind with the Roman Forum, particularly in the decade between 1540 and 1550, when our man, Pope Paul III, exploited it intensively for material to build the new St. Peter's Basilica. Particularly noticeable and iconic is the Temple of Saturn, who was the Roman god for agriculture, harvest and wealth. 8 of its original columns still stand today. It was used as the state treasury, where the state's reserves of money, grain and other valuable goods were stored. Today, you can walk through the forum and imagine how it would have looked and functioned in ancient times. Not when it was a cow field, earlier obviously. The Hilltop Views. Rome, the eternal city, is built on 7 hills, offering breathtaking views from its various viewpoints. Rome needs to be seen from the top. The most famous and popular hilltop viewpoint is the Janicolo Hill, which offers panoramic views of the city and its landmarks, including the Vatican, St. Peter's Basilica and the Colosseum. The view is particularly spectacular with the morning light. Another great viewpoint is the Pincio Terrace, located in Piazza del Popolo. It offers a panoramic view of the city and the beautiful gardens of Villa Borghese. Especially during the sunset, you should go there. Another popular hilltop vantage point is the Aventine Hill, which offers a picturesque view of the city, including the Tevere River, the Circus Maximus, and the nearby Orange Garden. From here, you can also get a glimpse of the famous keyhole of the Knights of Malta's Priory. That frames a perfect view of the dome of St. Peter's Basilica. Overall, each hill offers a unique perspective of the city, making them all worth visiting, albeit at a different time of the day. The Colosseum. Just down the road from the Roman Forum, you'll find the Colosseum. I'm sure you can't miss it, as, despite its age, it's still the largest standing amphitheater in the world today. It was built in the year 80 AD, and it was basically an all-time stadium that could hold an estimated 50,000 to 80,000 spectators at various points in its history. Pretty much like the London Stadium, and almost as much as the MetLife Stadium. Well, I guess back then people used to sit closer to each other, don't you think? It was used for the normal stuff like gladiatorial contests, executions, reenactments of famous battles, and dramas based on Roman mythology, and briefly also mock sea battles. Can you imagine that? The events held in the Colosseum were free for the public to attend. The Roman government, who financed and organized the events, provided them as a form of entertainment and a means of keeping the people happy. The Colosseum was also a political tool for the Roman emperors, as hosting spectacular events could gain them popularity among the people. Despite being significantly damaged by earthquakes and looters stealing building materials, the Colosseum remains an iconic representation of ancient Rome and was named as one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Piazza Navona. This is another example of a place that looked so much different in the past. What does it look like? See it from above. It was not always a public square. It was originally the Stadium of Domitian, where the ancient Romans would go to watch the agonies, games. This is the reason why it was known as the Circus Agonalis, competition arena. Over time, the name changed from Circus Agonalis to Avone, and then to Navone, and eventually to Navona. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the stadium was left in ruins and was quarried for building materials. Very little of it remains today. In the past, it was customary to flood the piazza during the month of August, which is generally Rome's hottest month, transforming it into a shallow lake. In the late 15th century, it was defined as a public space, and the city market was transferred there from the Campidoglio. During the pontificate of Innocent X, the Piazza Navona was transformed into a highly significant example of Baroque Roman architecture and art. The Trevi Fountain. Have you seen this movie?
My goodness.
It's Federico Fellini's La Dolce Vita, 1960. Here you can see Anita Ekberg famously waded into Trevi Fountain in a scene that has become iconic. Trevi Fountain has been featured in many movies, and if that is not a reason to visit it, I will give you another one. There is a long-standing tradition that states throwing coins into the Trevi Fountain will ensure a return to the city of Rome. So you can go there just to do that and come back to Rome. It is estimated that around 3,000 euros worth of coins are thrown into Trevi Fountain every day. And then the coins are collected and donated to Caritas, a Catholic charity organization that helps the poor. Aside from the coins thrown into it, the Trevi Fountain is an impressive and grand structure, measuring 26.3 meters in height and 49.50 meters in width. It is the largest fountain of its kind in Rome and is considered one of the most iconic and well-known fountains globally. The Appian Way. There's a famous figurative expression that says, "All roads lead to Rome." If they do, how do you get out of it? Jokes apart, let's talk about the Appian Way, or Appia Antica, which is an ancient Roman road that dates back to 1312 BC. It was one of the earliest and most important Roman roads and was used to connect Rome to the southern parts of Italy. The Appian Way is one of the most well-preserved ancient Roman roads in the world and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. One of the best ways to visit the Appian Way is by taking a walking or a biking tour. This allows visitors to explore the road at their own pace and take in the many historical sites and landmarks along the way. Some of the highlights of the Appian Way include the tomb of Cecilia Metella, the catacombs of San Sebastiano, and the circus of Maxentius. Additionally, the Appian Way is also famous for its beautiful nature and biodiversity. It offers great opportunities for birdwatching, nature photography, and hiking. The Baths of Caracalla. The Baths of Caracalla were the city's second largest Roman public baths, or terme, after the baths of Diocletian. The baths were likely built around 212 AD and during the reigns of Emperors Septimus Severus and Caracalla, which are not Harry Potter related. They were in operation until the 530s and then fell into disuse and ruin. They are considered to be one of the most impressive and well-preserved ancient Roman structures in existence. Proof of that is how they served as an inspiration for many other buildings like the original Pennsylvania Station in New York City, the Chicago Union Station, and the Senate of Canada building. Visiting the Baths of Caracalla is a unique opportunity to step back in time and experience the grandeur and opulence of ancient Roman culture. The baths were built on a grand scale and were equipped with state-of-the-art amenities and facilities, beautiful mosaics and frescoes. The baths covered an area of around 27 acres. The main hall of the baths, known as the Caldarium, is said to have been able to accommodate up to 1,600 people at once. Additionally, the baths were built to be highly efficient in terms of water and energy usage. The complex was equipped with a sophisticated system of underground channels and pipes that transported water from nearby aqueducts, which allowed for a constant supply of fresh water. The Spanish Steps. Another place that you have to see, but that you have actually already seen countless of times in social media, is this. The Spanish Steps, or as they are called in Italian, Piazza di Spagna. They are actually built by the French, not by the Spanish. The steps were commissioned by a French diplomat in the 1700s and were intended to connect the Spanish embassy in Rome to the church above of Santa Trinità dei Monti, which was a popular meeting place for the city's elite. It's a monumental stairway with 135 steps that quickly became one of the main sites to visit in Rome. Also for its blooming flowers that cover the steps each spring. If you're into coffee, take a look at Caffè Greco, one of the oldest coffee houses in Europe, founded in 1760, and frequented by famous artists and intellectuals such as Goethe, Keats, and Stendhal. The Pantheon. Pantheon literally means the temple of all gods, and it's incredible. It is one of the best preserved of all ancient Roman buildings, in large part because it has been in continuous use throughout its history. Since the 7th century, it has been a church dedicated to Mary and the martyrs. Why is it so special? Well, take a look at the oculus, which is the large circular opening at the top of the dome of the Pantheon. It is the only source of natural lights in the building and is approximately 9 meters in diameter. The purpose of the oculus is to provide light and ventilation for the temple. The oculus was also used as a sundial. The light passing through it would indicate the time of the day. It has also a symbolic meaning, as it was thought to represent the eye of the gods, or the all-seeing eye of the heavens. The Pantheon's unique design, featuring a circular dome and a temple-like facade, was unprecedented in Roman architecture. However, its design was later adopted as a model and replicated by many architects in the revival of classical styles. Some examples of buildings inspired by the Pantheon, just to name a few: the United States Capitol Rotunda in Washington, the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, the Pantheon in Paris, which was built as a church, St. Paul Cathedral in London. The Vatican City. We're finally arrived at number 1, which is the Vatican City. As an independent city-state, its population numbers at a mere 453 individuals. Governed by the Holy See, the Vatican City-State is a unique sovereign entity operating as both an ecclesiastical and sacerdotal monarchical state, led by the Pope, the Bishop of Rome, and head of the Catholic Church. Despite its diminutive size, the Vatican City packs a powerful punch when it comes to things to see. Within its borders lie numerous religious and cultural sites, including the world-renowned St. Peter's Basilica. As the largest church in the world by interior measurement, it is built on the burial site of St. Peter, one of Jesus' chief apostles and the first bishop of Rome. The Sistine Chapel is a place of worship located within the walls of the Apostolic Palace, which serves as the official residence of the Pope in Vatican City. The Sistine Chapel is widely recognized for the magnificent frescoes that adorn its interior, most particularly the Sistine Chapel ceiling and the Last Judgment, both by Michelangelo, that I think are one of those things everybody has seen and can recognize. Can you? Also, if you can make it, because the queues are, I would say, purgatorial, if such a word exists. Worth to be seen are the Vatican Museums. The Vatican Museums display an extensive array of art and artifacts that have been accumulated by the Catholic Church and the papacy over the course of many centuries. The collection includes some of the most renowned sculptures from ancient Rome, as well as some of the most significant masterpieces of Renaissance art in the world. The museums house an estimated 70,000 pieces of art, with around 20,000 on display for visitors to see. So there you have it. These are the 10 best things to see in Rome. I hope I didn't forget anything. If you think I did, let me know in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching and have a nice day.